So moving on to my last subject before we bring Ryan on here to the show, I'm going to give you guys my first official mock draft. As you guys know, the Miami Dolphins aren't going to have a pick till the 3rd round. So I was less excited to make this mock draft. In years past, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Miami Dolphins have had a high draft pick. So it's been really interesting to follow the draft, see how things line up, try to predict who the Dolphins were going to take. But this year, we don't got to worry about that till day 3. Or is it day 2 or is it day 2, I think. I think day 2 has the 2nd and 3rd rounds. So with the Dolphins out of it, I'm going to go through 1 through 10, as well as a little honorable mention at the end. So with the first overall pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars take Aiden Hutchinson, defensive edge, out of Michigan. He's the best player in the draft. The Jaguars went heavily on the offensive side of the ball in the free agency period. They signed Zay Jones, signed Brandon Sheriff, they signed Christian Kirk to that absolutely ridiculous deal, as well as some other pieces, added Evan Ingram from the New York Giants. So they focus really heavy there. They have their offensive line somewhat figured out. It's definitely better than it was before. You could look to draft the offensive lineman out of Alabama, Evan Neal, but I do expect them to go Aiden Hutchinson here. Best player, absolute animal, Heisman finalist. I do expect him to be the number 1 overall pick. Following him, I have the Lions going defense again. Actually, no, not again. Last year they took Penei Sewell. So I have the Lions going with Trayvon Walker, defensive lineman out of Georgia. Dude is a monster, 6'5", 275 pounds, very athletic defensive lineman. On the defensive line, having 6 sacks is really impressive, especially in the SEC. And I think the Lions continue to try to build a culture. They could go offense here. They could go with either Evan Neal, go with another offensive lineman, similar to last year, how they went with Penei Sewell. Or they can even look to address the quarterback situation and draft either Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, either they're choosing. But most realistically, I do expect them to go defense here with Trayvon Walker. Following that with the number 3rd pick, the Houston Texans. I have them taking the first offensive player off the board, that being Evan Neal, the offensive lineman out of Alabama. To me, best offensive lineman available in the whole draft. Easily could go number 1. He is one of the top prospects. That's why I have him going here in the top 3. They need to sort out the offensive line. They need to sort out a lot, to be fair, and they could go with Kayvon Thibodeau, who will be seen in this list very shortly. It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility for them to go that way. However, I would like to see them protect Davis Mills and see what they have in their quarterback there. Davis Mills had a great season last year that nobody really expected him to have as a 3rd round pick on a really bad team, but he did show some promise and some success that I think if given the right tools, he could succeed. I like that they kept Brandon Cooks signed into a 2-year, $20 million deal. So if you're going to support Davis Mills, if you're going to give him a chance by going out and getting the best offensive lineman in the draft, Evan Neal. Following that is with the before mentioned Kayvon Thibodeau going to the New York Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau going into last year was a projected number 1 overall pick for this year. He's the 6'5", 260 pound defensive edge out of University of Oregon. Had 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles on the year. The Jets, again, similar to the Jaguars, really attacked the offensive side of the ball in free agency, signed a couple offensive linemen, signed a couple tight ends, and they have a lot of needs to fill, especially on defense. And this is the best player left on the board to me. He, like I said, could have been going number 1 overall, could go number 2. He could go any in the top 4 realistically, but I think Aiden Hutchinson has cemented himself in for the number 1 pick, and recently Trayvon Walker has climbed a lot of people's boards to go up to number 2. So I think the Jets are getting a fantastic player, and Kayvon Thibodeau to come at Tua, come at Mac Jones, and Josh Allen. Following that is the number 5 overall pick, where you have the Giants going offensive line, Ikem Ekwonu out of, I think it's North Carolina State. I forgot to write that down here. This is their make or break season for both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. They both had their success, however, more so Saquon Barkley has had his success. Daniel Jones is really a mixed bag, and you can ask 100 different people and you're going to get 100 different answers about what they think about Daniel Jones. I am the mentality of you can work with him. He has the physical attributes that, comparable to Josh Allen that we've seen work in the league, but he's also had a lot of turnovers. He sometimes looks so lost out there, like he's seeing ghosts against every single team. So I'm not the biggest fan of him, but this is his make or break season. And then with Saquon Barkley, you're going to have to pay him after this season. So if he's going to work, give him the offensive lineman that could give the Giants the best success to run the ball and give Daniel Jones more time. With the Carolina Panthers, the number 6 pick in the draft, I have the first quarterback taken, Malik Willis out of Liberty. The Auburn transfer had a great season last year and has really all you could look for in a quarterback. He's not the tallest in the world. He's sitting about 6'1", 6'2". However, last season, 2,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions is really good numbers on a very mid-level team. But more importantly, just looking at his tape, you see the athleticism, you see the arm jump out. You saw on his pro day, which, again, that could be skewed. You know, pro day, you're inside, you have nobody running at you, you have nobody covering, so it's just who can throw it the farthest contest. He looks good. One thing I really like about him is the passion he plays with. And then, of course, we saw the video at the Combine of him helping, I believe it was a homeless person, which is great to see. So, model citizen, great player that I do have coming off the board with number 6, the first quarterback taken to the Carolina Panthers. Following that, I have the New York Giants with their 2nd pick. And really, it's back-to-back picks if you're the New York Giants because the Panthers went with the quarterback, as they should have. The Carolina Panthers have been trying to make really backups into starting quarterbacks for a few seasons now, and they need to just go out and get a top guy that they can go out and get now with the draft. But the New York Giants, I have them going defense with their first of 2 picks in the top 10, their second of 2 picks in the top 10. I have them going secondary piece, Ahmad Gardner out of University of Cincinnati. In his time in Cincinnati, did not allow a single touchdown, and if you're the Giants, you might be losing James Bradberry, so you want to replace him with the best secondary piece in the draft, Ahmad Gardner. I think he's a fantastic acquisition. With the number 8 overall pick, you have the Atlanta Falcons, and Atlanta's clearly in a rebuild mode. They just traded away their franchise quarterback, Matt Ryan. Last year, you lost Julio, and that team now is just so stripped of assets that it needs a complete rebuild. And I have them going defense with this. I have them going with Jermaine Johnson, the 2nd out of Florida State. Jermaine Johnson, if you look at his numbers, he actually has better numbers than all the defensive pieces going above him. He has more sacks than Thibodeau, Hutchinson, and Trayvon Walker. So you get a very good athletic defensive edge there. And there's a huge focus on edges, as you've seen in recent times. If you're a team that's building up, you really look for 3 things. You look for, I guess now 4 things. You look for your quarterback, you look to protect your quarterback, you look to give your quarterback weapons, and then you look for somebody to attack the other guy's quarterback. And by getting the best available edge in the draft, who had 12 sacks, 2 fumbles in last season, I think is a great move for Atlanta. I do believe Atlanta is going to stay with Mariota for the season, look for next year to attack quarterback. So here I just have him going best guy on the board and filling a need with Jermaine Johnson II. With the 9th pick, the pick that did come over from the Denver Broncos in the Russell Wilson trade, I have the Seattle Seahawks going with the offensive lineman Charles Cross. Simply put, the Seattle Seahawks offensive line has been in absolute shambles for a few seasons now, and they're in time for a just deep rebuild after letting Russell Wilson go. You're going to probably roll it out with Drew Lock this year, and I don't believe Drew Lock is the answer for them going forward. However, take one of the best guys left on the board. You really could go a few different directions here, and they potentially could get another first-round pick if they do trade away DK Metcalf. But for now, I'm going with Charles Cross to protect who eventually become their franchise quarterback. And then to round out the top 10, I have the New York Jets with their 2nd pick going with the first wide receiver off the board, that being with Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State wide receiver. To me, he's the best wide receiver in the draft. You could go a couple different directions in that category. You could look at Jameson Williams, even though he is coming off injury. You could look at Chris Olave, and you could look at really 3 or 4 other guys that have had fantastic careers in college. But the Jets missed out on Tyreek Hill, they missed on Devontae Adams. They can still pursue DK Metcalf, like I previously stated, so that's interesting to see. But I do have them going with Garrett Wilson here, getting the best receiver off the board, helping Zach Wilson, helping that offense continue to build. And the last pick I'd like to talk about is an honorable mention, that being Kenny Pickett, going 16th overall to the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints did just retain Jameis Winston on a 1 or 2 year deal. I forget off the top of my head what it is. But Jameis Winston, he got hurt last year. He had a good season before that, went 4-2. However, previously with Tampa Bay, hadn't had the best of go of things. So I do think that the Saints are going to look to improve on Jameis Winston here by drafting Kenny Pickett 16th overall.